The Epstein Files. What's going on? There's a lot of confusing information, so I thought I'd make a timeline from 2019 to now to give us a better picture on how everything's unfolding. So, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein gets arrested. He's accused of sex trafficking minors. He dies in his jail cell, and the official ruling was suicide by hanging. However, there were several major procedural failures. No cellmate, so there was no witness. 2, no 30-minute checks by the guards, so something like this doesn't happen. 3, the guards were asleep, which is major breach in protocol. And 4, the guards were actually found, they were accused of falsifying records and were proven guilty. 2020, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's associate, was arrested, facing 20 years in federal prison, also accused of sex trafficking minors. 2021, Epstein Victims Compensation Fund was opened, which dispersed $50 million to Epstein victims, usually requiring them to drop charges against Ghislaine and associates to get the money. This wasn't the case every time, but it's recorded that it has happened numerous times. 2022, Ghislaine Maxwell is sentenced to 20 years in prison for sex trafficking of minors, found guilty, sent to a low-security prison in Florida, Club Fed. J.P. Morgan is then sued by U.S. Virgin Islands, which is where the territory where Epstein's island was, stating that the bank allowed Epstein's predatory actions despite the numerous red flags he had and being a high-risk client. 2023, JP Morgan settles with U.S. Virgin Islands for $75 million. JP Morgan also settles with Epstein victims' class action lawsuit for $290 million. And then, now that lawsuit's over, the courts now allow victims to pursue Maxwell's former advisors. 2024, judge orders unsealing of thousands of civil court documents involving Epstein and victims. However, most of the files that were released were already